Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the comic shop. It's Beezy Comics. This time, I actually finished it. As you guys know, I actually started out this arc reactor, but I didn't finish it, and I felt like I was leaving you guys hanging. So I made sure to come back, spin back, and actually finish it and make it look like the real deal. If you look close, not only do you see that it lights up, but you actually see that I got some of the Nano Tech design in there. I can't wait to show you guys how I actually did that in the video, because that, I think, gives this an actual step up and makes it look a lot more realistic. Let's see if it actually works. Nah, I'm not that good. This is going to be the introduction to lighting and PCB boards. So aside from helmets, because as you guys can see in the background, I'm kind of running out of space for helmets. So I want to focus a little bit more on bringing electronics, PCB boards, programming, and engineering a lot more into these builds and into these videos. I thought now would be the best time to do it, since it's the winter time and it's not really suitable to go outside and paint. So while we can't do that, we can at least learn something new, a new strategy, a new technique to bring things to life. We're going to start out very simple with just battery powered lights. So I'm going to be going over the different types of battery powered lights that you can actually find, depending on the size or the fitment of what you're trying to actually light up. Of course, there are going to be difference of bulbs, PCB boards, and programming that we're going to get into later, but I want to show you how you can cut different things, use different elements of lights that come with batteries, so there's not much that you have to do, where you can still get the same effects. Get ready to lock in for some magic, guys. Welcome to the comic shop if you're new. Welcome to the new year of new innovation and new creation. It's Beezy Comics. Let's get to it. Now, the good thing about this file is that, as you can see, it printed out amazingly. You can check out the link here. I actually did a full live tutorial showing exactly how I sized and scaled this out, the way that I orientated it to make sure that it came out pretty good. So as far as this, the main parts that are going to be painted is just going to be the main grill and then the front grill. Other than that, everything's going to be enclosed and housed. As you can see from the back, there are some magnet slots, so I'm going to actually be able to bling, attach this right to my chest, so that way it can actually be like the real deal thing. To light everything up, now usually I use LEDs, but again, I want to show you guys like a couple different types of LEDs, or a couple types of lights that you can use other than LEDs. I'm going to get a little bit more in depth a little bit later into the video, but these are actually some fairy lights. And the modeler actually made the housing for these lights to specifically fit these fairy lights. So this is going to be the first type of light that I show you. Other than LEDs, like I said, later on in the video, we'll get into more types. Aside from that, we have the diffuser. And make sure you stay tuned, I actually have this stencil that's exactly the layout of Nano Tech that I'm going to match with this, so that way the actual lights, once the lights come on, not only will it light up, but you'll see like a Nano Tech kind of finish to it. It's going to be freaking cool, guys, trust me. But enough of me yapping. Let's go ahead and start to get the grill together, start getting this painted, start getting these lights set up, so that way we can turn in to the one and only Iron Man. Let's get to it. All right, so we're going to get out the simple part first. As you can see, I sanded some of the face of the grill. That's just to make this a little bit tacky, so that the glue, which I hate, I'm not going to be soldering this, but that's so that the glue can sit and bind a little bit easier. So let's go ahead and just throw a little bit of the glue on, and then this will be all attached to the point where we can start painting. The good thing about this as well is I don't have to add too much, because of course once I start priming and painting, the primer and the paint's going to get in between this and make this stick a lot easier as well. Let's go ahead and just mush it right in. Fits like a glove. And of course, I'm not going to make you guys sit here and wait for this. I just want to show you how simple and how easy it was just to bring these two parts together. Now let's go ahead and start painting this up, so that way we can then focus on the interior. Let's get to it. While I'm finishing up with the glue, this is the perfect time. I'm just going to add a little bit on my finger, and where this little triangle centerpiece already fits, I'm just going to rub the glue on that joint and let that kind of settle in so that this way that sticks in. It'll find its way between. Alright, so I figured that this would happen, so I was already planning for it. I feel like in 3D printing we need like a one universal size for magnets. Because on each prop, each print, they kind of switch. So as you can see, the magnets are just a little bit too big for the actual holes. So what I'm going to do is just with the soldering iron, as always, I'm just going to use this and open up some of these holes a little bit more. I got it already on the holster. So as you can see, I already got one clipped in there and just put some glue to hold everything in. So I'm just going to do this, probably just one in each corner. So 4 in total. That way I'm not here doing this all day. But let's go ahead and fix this up. And then after this, we're going to go ahead and go over lights. Now for this file, we're going to be using something a little bit different. I could have used what they call L boards. Check out this picture here. So this is just, again, another type of light that you can use or throw into a prop, all depending on the size. But I didn't want to go with that because I feel like it would be a bit too dim. Some of those little stretchy lights that you guys see in masks, like in this picture here, just another type of light that you can use. I feel like that would have been too dim as well. These fairy lights, they come in about a 50 count. They're LED white and they're very bright. Just in time for Christmas time too. I don't like to really order things online, but I think that these are going to work perfectly. They're going to fit perfectly into the mold. So let's go ahead and try that out. Light this up and throw some batteries in. Alright, so it's a little bit hard to record. There's a lot of wire that actually went into this. As you guys can see, I kept following the pattern, basically, winding this as much as I could. But as you can see, after a while, everything kind of overlapped. Let's just make sure from here that everything still works and that we'll still get the lights. Bling! So I'm gonna, as you can see, move some of the tape. I still do. Oop. Okay, so that as we can see, we got a little bit of a short, which I could figure would happen. So I'm just going to remove some of the tape. All right, everything is coming back now, but I'm still going to remove some of the tape just to make sure that everything is good. But it looks like everything is bright. But as you can see, some of those spots are still coming up black just because of the tape. So let's just fix that up. All right, guys, so actually, silly me, that's actually a feature of the light. So it's a dimming kind of feature. So you can see they have different things that the lights actually do. That one was actually a dimming off and on. So silly me. It's not a short, but I still did take a couple of the pieces out, as you see, just to make sure that everything brightens up. And anything else as far as like the interior housing, I'll be able to still like fit this in. There's still going to be plenty of space to make sure that all of this fits in the background. At least most of it is at least like structured in a good way. Like I said, I'm just gonna move some of the tape around a little bit better so that way it still lights up and it's not like uneven. Okay, now that's something I'm a little bit more proud of. I think sometimes, especially with these electronics, is I get a little bit impatient, but after you take your time, things come out a lot better. So now, as you guys can see, again, all I did was the same loop around this. So basically just snaking this around in like an S shape multiple times, around and around and around, until I basically couldn't anymore. So I still do have just a little bit of extra. But after doing that so many times, what happened was all the lights you'll start to see started to line up in the places where they should be, leaving like the exposed wire in a lot easier places for me to just keep multiplying, multiplying, multiplying the electrical tape over that. So as you can see, the lights are exposed, nothing's hidden under the painter's tape, and all that's under the painter's tape is just the wire itself. The old saying goes, the lazy man works twice. So that's definitely what I had to do, but I'm a lot happier with the way that this came out now. So just a little testing, even the fitting, because the way that I had it the first time as well, the some of the wire was coming over the side, so it wasn't going into the shell as just as good as I wanted to. So, whoo, buddy. Last time as well, what really made me do it again was the corners weren't lighting up as evenly as they should. But bro, oh my goodness. Now, looking at this does look good, but you notice with the arc reactor, there is like a bluish tint that goes on with this. So I am gonna start to, oh, this is freaking crazy. So I do want to make this a little bit more blue, so that way it gives more of like a realistic kind of look. When you leave the lights on, of course, the transparent filament is going to charge up and turn green, but I want those lights and effects to give like a bluish hue. This is going to be crazy, and along with that, like I said, we're going to get into the Nano Tech finish as well. So now that the lights are perfected, let's go on and finish the final pieces, which are going to be just like the final trim and color, washing this blue, and adding the Nano Tech. Let's get to it, guys. To wrap this all up, as you can see, this is the stencil that I've been talking about. So this is going to be the Nano Tech that I'm going to be using. If you remember the Halo Energy Sword, I actually used a different kind of stencil. That one was a little bit more transparent and it didn't really shine through. So what I'm going to do is at least cut this. I did make it in a gray, but as you can see, outside of the borders, this kind of looks like a sticker. So I'm hoping when I cut this out, since I left it with so little layers, that just pairing these two together, the light will shine through. If not, then I'll just do the same thing that I did last time. I'll just flip this over, and with the Posca pen, I'll just color it in, so that way everything still shines through. We'll see which one works, but I'm going to cut it first, put everything inside, and I think with it all being enclosed in a tighter space, that it'll shine through a little bit easier, but we'll find out now. Yeah, guys, what you guys think about it? Let me know in the comments, guys. This one is looking amazing. It sits flush. The lights come through just as good. I left you guys hanging in the first iteration of this one, and I couldn't leave myself with that dissatisfaction. So I definitely wanted to make sure I came back and finished this. I think with the Nano Tech, you guys can see that. I might just have to line up the lights a little bit better, but it's crazy how that comes through as a full final effect. Guys, that's freaking crazy. And just the amount of time to finish this, I could have painted or printed that out in a transparent filament just to make sure that that was like a little bit easier visible. I might do that just as a fix. But all in all, I am not mad at this one at all. So as you see, I did leave the stencil as it is and just left that tape behind the actual like transparent piece. The magnets still clip in. I just have to find a way, just a more suitable way for the battery pack. That's the only thing that's a little bit that I didn't actually plan for, but everything else, as you guys can see, it came through. I'm so happy with the way that this actually finished and came out, because this is something that you kind of want to wear all over the place and just kind of like brag about. Again, guys, this is the beginning of electronics, just how you can simply put a couple of lights into something and actually give it a realistic effect, a realistic glow, and bring something to life. Again, we're going to get a lot more deeper into lights and effects. We're going to get into more so PCB boards and how to program things, how to make things tick, and how to actually bring sound to more of our projects. Stay tuned for the end to see what's actually coming up next, because it's going to be a part 2 to something else, but we're going to go more into depth on what I promised you the first time, and it's actually going to look a lot more better. As always, it's Beezy Comics. Peace.